Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video on modding. In this video, we're going to talk about the files, and I know that files can be a pain in the rear for a lot of people, but getting the files right is real important to modding, especially when you're importing a model into Blender. And it seems to be a source of confusion with a lot of new people, with people who are new to modding. They contact me on Facebook, and most of most of the problems come down to is an incorrect set of base files. So I'm not going to go all the way back to the beginning, but I am going to go back to creating the base files for modding. I'm assuming that everybody can open Blender and everybody has their SCS Blender tools already configured right in Blender. These base files, or these modding files that I refer to, they come from your game's base files. So if uh, if you go into your game's base, notice that I've got 1.46. This is the latest version of American Truck Simulator, latest version. Well, it's still in beta, but 1.46 will be the new version. So I went ahead and put this in here. So in 1.46, I've got American Truck Simulator and European Truck Simulator. So I've got the base and the def, and I've also got one truck from version 1.46. And out of these files here, I'm going to create my base files for modding. So the way I like to do my base files, I'll I'll make the base files real generic so that they're applied to every mod that I'm going to do, whether it's modding a trailer, modding a truck, or creating a cargo mod. These are just general files that apply to every mod that I'm going to make. So the way I do that is, let me go back out of here. I'm going back into my game files, and I'm just going to create a new folder. And I'm just going to call these base files. All right, so inside these base files, I'm going to have to get some game files. So if I open my game files back up, and notice I'm still in the same folder, but this time instead of going into base files, I'm going to go into the 1.46. So this is where all my game files are located at. I'm going to go into American Truck Simulator, and the files that you need for your base files, you're going to need a vehicle file. So I'll create a new folder, call it vehicle, and make sure that all your spelling and everything matches. So vehicle, and then if I go into base, here's the vehicle file. So vehicle, make sure the spelling is correct. Don't capitalize any letters. Don't add anything to it. Make sure vehicle and vehicle. All right, so inside the vehicle folder, I see some more folders. And like I said, this is the game files, and I'm creating a base files folder. So there's a few folders that I need. One is this share folder. So I'll just copy this whole share file over to my base files. And then there's some files within that share folder that I don't need in my base file. So after I get everything copied over, I'm just going to go ahead and delete them. And these are going to be mostly things like cargo models and a few other types of models. But I don't need these for my base file, so I'm going to go ahead and delete. So inside this share folder, I have texture, and I have some textures here. And here are some generic textures for using in American Truck Simulator. But what I'm interested in is this models folder. So inside this models folder, I want to delete everything except for the cable connectors. And there may be one more that, no, it's just a cable connector. So I'm going to delete everything except these cables connectors. Then it may take a few seconds to delete this. This is a big folder. And the reason why I'm deleting, I know a lot of you sitting and saying, why don't I just convert all these files over at one time? And the reason is I want to keep my base files very simple, and I want to add anything to my base files that I'm working on. So if I'm working on a truck or a trailer, I just want to add those files. I don't want anything extra. That way, if I have issues or problems, I can narrow it down. But the more files that you put into your base files, if you do end up having any type of errors on export, it's a lot harder to find. So everything else I'm going to keep, and I'll come back out to my share. All right, and then I need this trailer folder. So I'm going to create this trailer folder. And inside this trailer folder, you're going to see all the trailers that are American Truck Simulator. But I don't want to copy all of these over. The only thing I want to copy into my base files is this one share folder here. So I'll copy that into my trailer folder and make sure you get the file paths right. Otherwise it screws everything up. So please be careful with your file paths. So inside this share folder, there's just different things, straps, lamps, chains, just generic stuff that applies to pretty much all your trailers and ATS. All right, so I'm done with trailer. So I'll come back out, and I don't think there's anything under, yep. So I want this upgrade, so I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it trailer on. And like I said, make sure that the folders match. So I'm in the trailer on folder, and I just made a trailer on folder, and I want to copy this upgrade folder. It's the only one I want to copy, so I'm going to copy that and paste that over into my trailer on folder. And generally the only thing I like to get out of that upgrade folder is that wheel, so I'm going to delete the paint job because I don't want any paint jobs. I just want the wheel. Okay, so trailer on folder is complete. All right, and then we're down to the truck folder. So I think I'm just going to copy this whole truck folder over. Because truck folder generally doesn't have a whole lot in it. So if we open the truck, we've got a share folder, and inside the share folder, we just have some generic files that we need for doing mods on trucks. And then in the upgrade folder, I want to delete everything except for the wheel and the WPASS. So I'm going to delete all these. All right, so now that we've got our truck copied over, we've got one more folder. This is another wheel. So I'm going to copy this wheel, and I'm also going to add that to my base files. All right, so now I am done with my vehicle folder for my base files. So I'll come back out, and there's another folder that I need for my base, and that's called a unit folder. So I'm going to copy this complete unit folder. And the unit folder contains your hookup library, and that's why you need it. So without it, Blender can't tell your hookups for your lights and license plates and things of that nature. So you need this unit folder, and just copy the whole folder over. And now we need another folder, and that folder is our material folder. So this is where a lot of our materials come from. So inside that material folder, we need two folders. Used to be only one, but now I'm coming across some mods that require this custom folder. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy it, that custom. I'll copy that one over. And then I'm also going to copy this environment over. And then last but not least, I need this material DB file. So I'm going to copy it All right. So now you should, in your material file, you should have custom, environment, and material. Now we don't need everything in the environment folder, so we're going to delete everything that we don't need. And like I said, the less files you have in your base files, the better off you'll be if you have errors on exporting. So we're going to keep the brush reflection. We're going to get rid of the building reflection, so we're going to delete that one. We're going to keep the fuzzy reflection. We're going to remove this Iconomaker cube, so we're going to delete that. We're going to keep the interior static. The relightable reflection, we're going to delete the showroom cube. We're going to delete the skyline reflection. We're going to keep the soft reflection, the super soft reflection. We're going to delete this truck preview. Okay, so now we have deleted all the files that we don't need. Now, if you're going to be doing mods on buildings or map mods, you may have to put those materials back in. But if you're going to just stick with trucks, trailers, and cargo, you don't need those. So just as you get better at modding, you'll be able to decide what you need in your base files and what you don't need. So we'll go back out, and we're done with our material folder. And the last thing that we need is this automat file. And this automat file is very important. If you convert all these files without having the automat file, it will just screw everything up. Nothing will import right in Blender at all. So you got to copy this whole automat file. So I'll copy that from our game files and I'll put in our base files. And this is a fairly large file, so it'll take a few minutes for it to copy over. All right, now that our automat file is over, so I'm just going to put this into a new folder. So let me, like I said, I like to keep everything organized. So I will call these modding base files, and then I will just copy that over. All right, so if we go into our modding base files, here are our base files, and these base files, if you look in them, we'll just pick something at random. So let's look at our share folder, and we're going to look at these textures. If you go in here and you find these TOBJ files, and you open it up, you'll see some weird looking characters in here. Looks like this is straight out of Harry Potter. Some wizarding stuff going on here. Anyway, these Blender can't read these TOBJs when it has all this magical letters in here. So none of your material is going to show up in Blender. We have to convert those. And also, if you look in, let's look at a wheel. If we go to a wheel and we look at, you can see you got a PMD and a PMG for wheels. Blender can't read these. They have to be converted to another format, which is PIM instead of PMD and PMGs. So that's why we have to use a program called ConverterPix to convert our base files over to where Blender can read all our files. But we don't want to do that. I think of this like an analogy of making a vegetable beef stew. Here we just have the vegetables, but there's no meat in it. There's nothing in here to mod. There's no trailers in here. There's no trucks. There's no cargo. There's nothing. There's just very, very little bit of models in here. But let's say that I'm wanting to work on let's say a flatbed cargo mod. So what I'll do on my desktop, I'll create a new folder. And I'll call this my flatbed mod. Now, after you create this base files, make sure that you never change them. Make sure they stay exactly the way they are. Don't convert them. Just keep them just like I showed you. And you can use these base files for any mods that you want to create, whether it's truck, trailer, or cargo. You can use these same base files. So in this we're going to create a flatbed mod. So I created a new folder, and there's nothing in it. So this is the very start of my mod. So every mod I do, I create a new folder, and it's an empty folder, and I just name the folder whatever mod I'm working on. And then I want to take these base files that I just made, and I want to copy them over to my modding folder. Okay, now also this will take a little bit of time because it still has that automap file that has to copy. Okay, so now we got our base files copied over. We don't need this base file anymore, so we're just going to close that. Okay, but we're still not done with our game files yet, because I'm going to work on the flatbed trailer, I got to get the flatbed files over into my base files before I convert them. So I'll go back into my game files, and all your models are kept in your vehicle folder. So I'll go back into 1.46 American Truck Simulator, and then I'm going back into my base, and I'm looking for the vehicle folder. So I go back in base, and I'm in my vehicle folder. Alright, so just like our vegetable beef stew, I'm going to start adding meat to our stew. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to go to this trailer folder, since I'm working on a flatbed trailer, and I'm going to look for the folder that says SCS flatbed. So here it is. So I go into my trailer folder here, and I'm going to copy this SCS flatbed trailer, this SCS flatbed trailer folder, and I'm just going to paste it inside my trailer folder. And this trailer folder is for your this is for your traffic, this is for your park trailers. This isn't the trailer that it's every trailer that you don't own. So if you go pick up a load and it's a flatbed trailer, that model is going to come from this file. The only trailer that is not in this file is the trailer that you can actually go into the game and purchase. So that's kept in, obviously, the trailer owned folder. So we have to get that trailer also. So we're going to the trailer owned folder, and we look for the SCS flatbed, and we want to copy that over. Alright, so now we have added the meat to our beef stew. Now we just got to cook it. So we'll close that, and what we need to convert these files over is a program called ConverterPix. And ConverterPix is kind of hard to find now. So I'm just going to leave you a link to the file if you do not have it. I think a lot of people using ConverterPix wrapper. I could never get the wrapper to work exactly the way I wanted to. For me, this was a lot easier. So if you're using wrapper, if you have issues, I'm not going to be able to help you on exporting or importing or anything else, because I just do not use wrapper. But I do use the ConverterPix. So you open ConverterPix and you go to whichever operating system you're using. In my case, it's Windows. And I go to where it says ConverterPix.exe. And what I'm going to do is take this whole base file, and I'm just going to drag it over until it says open with ConverterPix.exe, and I'm just going to let go. And then a DOS box is going to open up, and it's going to start converting all those TOBJs, TOBJs with all the magical lettering inside. They're going to convert them to non-magical files. So, and it's also going to convert all your PMD and PMG files. It's going to convert them to PIT and PIM files. So after we convert it, it creates a new file called basefiles.exp. And if we go in here, and let's say we're going to the vehicle folder, and we go into trailer, and let's say we're going to the flatbed trailer, Okay, you can see now that all our models are converted to pick, PIM, and PIT. And then any texture files like this, the TOBJ files, if you open those up, all the match lettering is gone. It's just simple it's just singular how it wants to display that material. So that's what's inside this file, and the repeats. If you get real big into modding, you'll know what these repeats are, map 2Ds and MIP maps and things like that. But for right now, just know that it takes all that magical lettering out and replace it with things that you can actually edit in a notepad, which is very important when it comes to adding new materials and things. All right, so our base file looks like it converted over correctly, but there's a few things that we're missing now. If you'll notice, we don't have the unit folder anymore. We don't have the AutoMap folder, and we're also missing the database file. So we'll have to add everything except for the AutoMap. We don't need the AutoMap file anymore. But before I do that, I'm just going to change the name of this. I'm just going to simply call it base. All right, so inside our base files, original base file, we'll just copy the unit and we'll just place it into our new base. And then we'll go back into the base files and we'll get that material DB file. And make sure that you copy these, don't forget. And it's easy to do. Go back in your base and paste that over back into your material folder. All right, so now you've got all your files converted over, and these are the files that I'll work with when I create my mod. So this time we can go into Blender. So let me just close this Blender out. So when you start Blender, and I'm going to start Blender again, and it comes up with a splash screen, and you just close the splash screen out, and you can just delete the cube. And if you go over here where it looks like you have a spanner wrench and a screwdriver, make sure that your project base path is pointed to the right base that you just made. So whatever you're modding in Blender has to point to the base of your mod. So I'm just going to repoint this. I'll go to desktop. Remember, I made a flatbed mod, so here's my flatbed mod. And then this is my base. So I'm going to open my base and I'll hit select SCS project directory. All right, so now I know that my Blender is pointed to my right mod base. And I look in my hookup library right here, and this is that unit file that we just copied over. It's black, so it sees it. And then this is for a material database file. It sees it. It shows up as black. So the last test we need is make sure that we can import that flatbed trailer into Blender error-free. So we'll hit File, Import, and we'll go back. You can either go into desktop and search for the file you just made, or since we just did our project base path, that base should be under recent. So if I click on it, I can look up here and I can see that this is my flatbed mod base. And I'm going to go into vehicle, and I'm going to go into trailer, and the flatbed trailer, and then I'm just going to look for a trailer to import into Blender. And let's say that I'm working on the 53-foot flatbed trailers. So I'll scroll down, and you can look at the names of these and you can pretty much tell what trailer you're looking at. Now you see here it's a chassis, 53-foot, 3-axle, and this says level of detail 0. So you don't want anything that has level of detail on it. Even though it'll look like a flatbed trailer, I'll explain later on in another video what that LOD means. But you want to look for a trailer that doesn't have the LOD on it. So here's the chassis 53 3-axle PIM. And I'll click on it and just hit import. Alright, so here's an error. Alright, so this is common, but basically it's telling you it's missing a material. So it says I can't find the texture nor TOBJ inside my SCS project base path. And it's saying it's looking for vehicle, share, models, accessory, lights, round 01 lamp mask. All right, so what we need to do, we need to find that material for this trailer. So it'll give you exactly where it's located at. So it's in the vehicle share folder and the models accessory. So remember when we went into the models, if we go into base files and we go into the vehicle, we go into share, and we go into models. The only model that I had was the cable connectors. So this one is looking for another folder. In this case, it's the accessory folder. So what I need to do is go back to my game files. I'm going back to my game files and I need to find that file. So I'll go back into my 1.46, my ATS, my trucks, I'm sorry, not trucks, my base, go back into my vehicle folder, share, models, and now I'm looking for a folder called accessory, and this is the accessory. So I want to copy that and I want to add it to my base file. All right, so now I have the accessory now, and you see there's several other folders, but it's looking for the lights folder. But I'll just leave everything in there for right now, just in case there's something else that the trailer needs. Okay, so I'm back out to my base files now. Since I need to convert that file over again, so I'll go back into my Blender tools and I'm going to convert it. So I open my ConverterPix Master, go back to the window 86, and I'm going to drag this base file back over to my ConverterPix. Then it'll take a few minutes for it to convert everything over, but you want to make sure that you convert the whole base file over. Don't try to just convert the accessory folder, because by experience you're going to have issues in it. Just convert the whole base file over again. It's going to create a new base file exp. It only takes a few minutes, and then just go back into your share, find the folder that you just converted, and just copy that back to your base. So we're going to copy that to our base, vehicle, share, models, and then we're just going to paste it. All right, so we'll go back in here and I'll show you, we'll just start out with a new window. All right, we'll delete the cube again, and this time we'll import that flatbed trailer again. So we'll go back, since we were in the flatbed folder shows up under recent, so we can just click on it and we just scroll down to our 53-foot 3-axle trailer again. And here is our chassis 53 3-axle trailer, and we're just going to open that PIM again. This time we shouldn't have any errors. Okay, and we don't, because now we just converted the one file that it was missing. So you may come across that from time to time, that's missing a file, but it'll tell you exactly where it's located at. You just go to it and just make sure that you convert your base file over again. And then when the model imports in the Blender, if you're new to Blender, this doesn't look much like a flatbed trailer. It kind of has a shape and appearance, but it doesn't look like what you see in the game. And the reason is it is showing everything that's attached to that trailer. And these brown boxes, these are your collision boxes. This gray thing at the bottom, that's your fake shadow. So if you want to just see what's in the game, you can go up here to the SCS tools, go to visibility tools, and click on uh, this white box, and it says view model objects. So we'll just click on it. And now we have our flatbed trailer. And it still looks kind of strange. You can see a lot of uh, artifacts here on the bed, and there's a reason for that. And you can see that it's like a pasty gray looking. Doesn't have any texture to it at all. So if you'll hit Z and hit material preview, it'll show you all the materials that's on that trailer. So it'll take a few seconds while it loads your materials in, but you start seeing them come in a little bit at a time. Trucks generally takes longer than trailers do, but it loads all the materials in. So now it looks more like the flatbed trailer that you see in the game. Okay, so that's it for this video. And as a surprise to you, what I am going to do, I'm going to try to create a 4-part series and show you exactly how I created my Bell helicopter mod. We're just going to go through it step by step, and if you follow all of my videos on creating a Bell helicopter mod, at the end of the video you should be able to make your own mod. And I'm going to show you all the steps that you need in order to create a cargo mod for American Truck Simulator. Alright, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I do make videos every now and then, although work has gotten kind of hectic and chaotic. I don't get a chance to make videos as often as I like, but please subscribe. I'm going to try to get these next 4 videos up fairly quick, so you can create your own cargo mod and you can be on your way to creating some mods that you can share with the Truck Simulator community. Anyway, that's it for this video. Stay safe and keep modding. Thank you.